Salvation Army band played, and the children.
I got to tell you, just looked outside. It is, I think we're all going to die today, to be honest. It is a driving sideways rain.
That's the hurricane that was supposed to be here 2 weeks ago, apparently.
Yeah, 2 years ago. It's here. Hurricane Billy Baldwin. Well, that looks bad out there. I'm not going to go outside.
Now, that is...
It's supposed to stay like that all day?
I hope not,
Jesus Christ.
I got an hour drive south.
Anyway, Billy Baldwin is my favorite Baldwin brother. He's the only one I really know, to be honest. And I got a chance to meet Billy in Massapequa at some fakakta dinner about a decade and a half ago. And for a movie star, he's a legitimate movie star. His new movie is coming out on the Hallmark Channel, Lead With Your Heart. He's like the coolest, most down-to-earth, practical, regular guy. Like, he's completely different than Alec. Here he is, the great Billy Baldwin. Hi, Billy.
Sid, how are you, buddy?
You know what's funny, Billy? I'm great, and I just had on 20 minutes ago Brian Baldinger talking NFL, and he's like, wow, you've got me and Billy Baldwin in a half-hour block. How about Massapequa, Long Island, baby?
No, Strong Island, baby. I had lunch with Brian Baldinger just a couple weeks ago up in my hometown in Santa Barbara. He popped up there for some... Could you imagine Baldinger on a yoga retreat? He's about 9 feet tall, but he was up there visiting, and I told him to make sure if he got up there, he got in touch with me, and we wound up having lunch. It was great to see him.
Yeah, he told me. He said you look great, and everything's great with you, and I was really, really happy to hear that. I did see Alec, actually. He was over at the I know you live in California, but Alec did go visit. He went to the Federer match and a few other matches at the U.S. Open, but out in California, you can't do that. But you're making movies, Billy. Tell me about this new one, Lead With Your Heart.
Yeah, and by the way, you know, Dinger, my father was a high school football coach, and all the Baldinger brothers played for my father back in the 70s on the Massapequa High School football team. My father taught history and coached the football team, and Brian played for my dad.
Not only Brian, but his brother Gary, Billy, played for your father and loved your father. Loved him.
And yeah, Gary, Richie, and Brian, all three of them, they were real close.
Hey, let me tell you something, Billy. I used to drive from Manhattan early Saturday mornings to whatever it is, Plainview, Plain Edge, Long Island, to play basketball with those guys. And they play basketball like they play football. They elbow you, they beat you up. I swear, Billy, I go home every Saturday. Danielle would be like, I had a busted ankle, I had a busted elbow. She's like, stop playing basketball with the Baldinger brothers. Just stop.
I lifeguarded at Tobay Beach with those guys for years, and you know, I played a little bit of basketball with them. I played a lot of volleyball with them, and you're right, it was brutal. I mean, Richie Baldinger used to stand out on the front, and he always had a half a sandwich in his hand. Literally, we would work like 9 hours a day, and he was always putting a sandwich and stuff. I said, how many sandwiches do you make a day? He goes, I don't know, 12, 13, 14. He just literally had a half a sandwich in his house for 10 hours straight.
That's hilarious.
But that's when you're playing in the NFL and you got to weigh 280, 300.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only way you can do it.
See,
Hey, Sid, how about my Yankees last night, bro? How about my Yankees last night?
You know, I know you're on the West Coast, and you're still a diehard Yankee fan. That was a big home run for Heathcote, but I will tell you this, Billy. I know you're a diehard Yankee fan. Your Yankees, a big win, but you know what team right now owns New York, and that's my team, and they're called the Mets.
Let me tell you something. It is, and I don't think I'm exaggerating, in my lifetime, which is a long time,
Right.
it's now officially a long time,
Right.
I've never seen a season like this. The Mets are hot. The small market teams, Kansas City and Pittsburgh are hot. To have Chicago be in third place and would they be in first place in any other division in the league? Of course, you got the big market teams like the Yankees and the Mets and the Dodgers in the thick of it, but I have never seen it this dynamic and this exciting, and small market teams in the mix. And you know what's going on in the National League Central is just like I don't even know if I've seen that in my lifetime.
They're all the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Cubs are all great. And you're right, Billy. Kansas City's great. Houston is great this year. But now let me ask you this: if the season ended today, I know you're a Yankee fan, but if the season ended today, the Mets would play the Dodgers in the first round of the playoffs. Would you go to the Met-Dodger games in L.A. and root for the Mets?
Oh, I am a Yankee fan, but I'm not one of those guys. I hate these people that say you're not a real Yankee fan if you root against the Mets. Whenever the Mets are in the postseason and they're not playing the Yankees, I am rooting for them. The only team I'm rooting against all the time is the Red Sox.
Right.
not the Mets. I want to see them do well.
Right.
And I'm very proud of them. And another thing that I saw this year that I haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever, is the adjustments they made before the trade deadline with Toronto and the Mets. I've never seen a more dramatic impact at the trade deadline that the Mets came up with. Even Cueto in Kansas City, I don't know if he's going to pay off yet or not, if he's going to get them over the hump, but the Cueto move in Kansas City and then the moves that the Mets had with Cespedes and Tulowitzki and the other guys that they got up in Toronto. I've never really seen a more dramatic impact. It didn't completely turn the franchise around. They weren't like in the cellar, but they were sort of cruising along a couple games behind the Nationals, and all of a sudden, boom, they clicked into overdrive. And I got news for you. I don't know who to say is going to win. It's going to be a buzzsaw. Chicago's hot. St. Louis is hot. Chicago is hot. The Dodgers are hot. The Mets are hot. I mean, I don't know what that's going to be a gauntlet trying to get through the National League. I'll
tell you what, though, it did actually, Billy Baldwin here, the great actor, who's, as you can tell, knows his sports as well as anybody, it did actually turn the organization around, Billy, because, look, the Mets can pitch. They're every good. They're as good as the Dodgers. I know Kershaw and Greinke are great, but when you've got Matt Harvey, Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, Steven Matz, that may be the best stamp in baseball, but they couldn't score. So now Cespedes has, and Uribe and Kelly Johnson, he has completely changed that lineup. And I'm telling you right now, no disrespect to Rizzo, who's having a good year, and a few other guys. Right now, Billy Baldwin, Cespedes is the best offensive player in baseball.
I can't argue. There's a lot of good ones, but he's right at the top of the list.
Yeah.
And, he's the catalyst that's, you're right, changed the lineup. Now they can't pitch around these other guys. They got to pitch to them.
Right.
And now that they're finally pitching to them, they're driving the ball in the gap. They're scoring runs.
They look great. There's no question. It could be very exciting, Billy, with the Mets and the Yankees both in the playoffs as of today. But Arda's going to yell at me if I don't talk about your new movie on the Hallmark Channel, Lead with Your Heart. Now, look, I have two kids. Now, they're not college ready yet, Billy. They're younger than your kids. My daughter's 11. My son is 6. But I have sisters. I have nieces and nephews. I've seen what happens when the kids go to college and you go from a house of 5 or 6 to a house of 2. And then if, God forbid, somebody moves like your wife does in this movie, that becomes even harder. So what is this movie all about?
Well, I was promoting another. You're of the same. We're the same generation. I was doing another show for Hallmark. I was promoting it. There's an internal Hallmark talk show hosted by Marie Osmond.
Yes.
And they said, "Do you want to do the Marie Osmond show?" And I said, "Yeah." I mean, I've always wanted to meet Marie Osmond. I think she's really cool. I mean, in my childhood, you had a crush on like Marsha Brady or Marie Osmond. I got a crush on both. I want to meet her for sure.
Right.
And on the show, I said, I heard you divorced your husband. And she said, yep. And I said, and you have 8 kids? And she said, yep. And I said, then I heard you took like a stupid pill and you fell in love with that guy again and you remarried the father of your kids like a couple of years down the line. And she said, yep. And she started laughing. And I turned to the camera and I said, that sounds like another Hallmark movie, doesn't it? And like 3 days later, I had a deal on the table to develop this concept of basically, I said, it frustrates me because I've been with China 24 years.
Wow.
Everybody goes through their ups and downs. Everybody has complacency in their relationship, and you have to like fight to keep it fresh, and you have to fight to you have to be willing to change. And I wanted to do a movie about a marriage that is entering a phase where they're really confronted with some real struggles in their marriage, not just empty nest syndrome, but issues that go on beyond that. Basically, a big problem, and it happened to a friend of mine. The husband was a blue-collar, like, landscaper and snowplower, and the wife was running a nonprofit organization. And 15 years into running this nonprofit organization, she's testifying in the House and the Senate. She's rubbing elbows with politicians, and she's not really the same person she was when she married, met her husband, the landscaper, in high school. And they start to, like, grow apart. They start to evolve in different directions at different rates, and it puts a strain on the relationship. And sometimes those relationships you can't save, but a lot of times people want to walk away from a marriage without kids or a marriage with 2 or 3 kids when they don't realize they got the tools in the toolbox to really change the flow of the energy. But you got to be willing to compromise. You got to be willing to change and make some you got to adapt along the way if it's important enough to you. If the relationship and the family is important enough to you, you'll be willing to make the adjustments. Too many people are like flushing families down the toilet just because it's like too much work or it's inconvenient and they don't realize they have the power to change it right there if they want.
Listen, I know you got married in 91. I got married to Danielle in 92. So you're with China 24 years. I'm with Danielle 23. And you know my history, Billy. I've had all kinds of very public issues, and she stuck with me. And we've done everything, and we're doing great now. So you're right. I mean, especially in Hollywood.
Well, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I mean, think about the roller coaster ride you guys were on. And the commitment that you made to one another and the changes you had to make along the way. She had to make some pretty damn big changes, but guess what? and I'm sure you want to give her a lot of the credit, but the changes you made were monumental in turning the ship around. Right?
Thank you. Yes, no, they were. But I tell you what, and especially in Hollywood, Billy, to be with your wife for 24. I mean, you're a great-looking guy. You're a big-time movie star. You got money. That says a lot about the person that you are.
I'm watching my wife walk down the driveway right now, and she's wearing a pair of yoga pants.
Right.
And I tell you, if I could send you a picture of that right now, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
China Phillips is an incredibly smoking hot, really super cool, kind, and remarkably talented woman. I'm actually with her on tour right now. She played in Pittsburgh. She's on her way to Mohegan Sun, then Orlando, San Francisco, and Calgary. She's playing with En Vogue. They're doing like a 90s throwback thing at Mohegan Sun, and she's playing with En Vogue there.
Awesome.
And then she's doing a big symphony gig with the Philharmonic in Calgary. She got like her next 10 shows lined up.
Awesome. Listen, I know Art Sears is making you run. I would keep you on for an hour, Billy. I'm very happy for you. The movie is Lead with Your Heart on the Hallmark Channel, and it's great to talk to you. I would love to get you on, Bill, when you're not doing a tour, just to really rap about baseball and football and all that stuff.
I'll get your number from Art, and we'll set that up. I'll come on anytime. I'd love to.
Good luck with the movie. I love you. It's great to talk to you, pal. Good luck.
You too, Sid. Thanks for having me.
You got it. The great Billy Baldwin. See, I'm telling you. How cool was Billy Baldwin? Chris, I know you met his brother. You met Danny or Steven?
No, I met Alec.
Alec, okay. How cool was Billy Baldwin?
Billy, that is one of the coolest guys that I could definitely say you just want to hang out with him and talk.
He's coming on talking Yankees. He's talking Mets. And his wife, of course, China from the group Wilson Phillips. And
oh, wow.
A long line of China Phillips is the daughter. Of course, her father was part of the Mamas and the Papas.
Papas, yeah.
Exactly right. So he's been with us for 24 years. That was a great appearance by Billy Baldwin. Great.
Just really down-to-earth guy that you want to hang out with. Like, you could see yourself in a bar watching sports with a plate of wings in front of you. Just
That's him.
Shooting the breeze and talking about anything and everything. Really cool guy.
That is Billy. And for some reason, he loves me. We'll take a short break. When we get back, Allison Camerota. You see her every morning alongside Chris Cuomo on CNN. She also, I believe, this week is going to fill in for Erin Burnett out front at 7 o'clock on CNN. The very lovely and talented Allison Camerota right after this.
There are a lot of ways to get rich, but most of these require doing actual work, and who has time for that during the football season? You've got to watch games, you got wings to eat, you got beer to drink, and most of those things you probably can't do while you're working, or I would be doing them right now. So instead of actually putting effort into getting rich, just come to Buffalo Wild Wings, where you will instantly be football rich. Imagine wall-to-wall screens, delicious food, cocktails, beers. They can be yours to simply enjoy by opening a door and walking in. That's it. Oh, wait a minute. You're really lazy? You want to wait till somebody opens the door for you? Well, then you can dive into the potato stack like it's a pile of pretend money. They start with their Chipotle barbecue kettle chips topped with creamy queso and crispy buffalo chicken. Then, right at your table side, they'll top it off with layers of blue cheese crumbles, celery, tomatoes, shredded lettuce, green onions, and cheddar jack cheese. Now, that, my friend, is what I call football rich. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Please drink responsibly.
I have to confess, I love a good beauty steal. Eyeshadows, fancy anti-wrinkle creams, nail polishes, anything I can get my hands on, I take. I really stuff my bag.
It's Ulta Beauty's 21 Days of Beauty event. Get daily beauty steals on all your favorite brands, like Bare Minerals and Tarte. Plus, enjoy in-store events with tips and trends from the experts.
Tricks on doing a cat eye? Yeah, I steal those too.
Visit Ulta.com or an Ulta Beauty near you. Ends September 26th.
The Home Depot has what you want in laminate flooring. Options. So let's shop hundreds of styles of flooring all under a single roof. Let's compare hand-scraped to high gloss. Choose from rich reds and deep browns. And get a special buy on exclusive Traffic Master Saratoga Hickory, starting at just 99 cents a square foot. Let's do this. Save on Traffic Master Saratoga Hickory laminate. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. While supplies last, styles vary by market. U.S. only. See store for details.
First thing that rises in your mind when you awake.
He really was.
Yeah, Billy's fun. Billy's always, he and I have always gotten along great. He's a big fan of mine in New York. He's a diehard sportsman. He lives in Santa Barbara now, but he's a Yankee fan, a Jet fan. And so he's got a new movie coming out on the Hallmark Channel, Billy Baldwin. Make sure you check that out. 24 years he's married to China. He got married the year before me. He got married in 91. I got married in 92. And in Hollywood, to stay married for 24 years is basically like a Democrat being honest. It just... See,
stop.
If you know where the production was, you'd play a rim shot. I'm very excited about our next guest, too. We've had a great show so far today, and it gets even better. Alison Camerota, you see her alongside Chris Cuomo on CNN. I remember her on Fox, and she's very lovely and very smart and very good on television, and she's going to hop on the day before the debate on her network right now. Alison, it's Sid in South Florida. How are you?
Hey, Sid. I'm well. What's up?
It's great to have you. We're all big fans of you, and I was a fan of yours even when you were on Fox. But now you're at the better place. So. Although, don't tell Sean Hannity I said that. He'll get very angry with me.
I really appreciate that, Sid. Not everybody followed me. Some people are still very upset that I made the move.
They are they? Because it was a little controversial. It was, when are they going to get over that, do you think? Or do you even care?
I do care because I do wish that my fans from Fox would follow me and tune into New Day, and some have, and I really appreciate that. But some, Fox fans are very loyal, so there was a bit of a cognitive dissonance, I think, that they experienced, that they saw me as going to, what they perceived as the enemy. But I have had great jobs at both places, and I'm thrilled to be on New Day now.
I think it was the late 1990s, maybe the mid 1990s. I was early in my sports radio career, Alison, and I got a phone call from an agent. I was living in Florida, and he knew I wanted to get back to New York desperately. He said, listen, Sporting News Network wants to do a show every Sunday from Mickey Mantle's restaurant on Fifth Avenue, a sports show. And they got a co-host for you, a partner for you. I said, well, who is it? He said, Brian Kilmeade, I think. I said, who the hell is that? I'm not going to New York and working with Brian. And now, of course, I know you did the Fox and Friends stuff, too, but now Brian is like a big star. But I turned that down back in 1997.
Wow, that's very savvy career move of yours, Sid. No, Brian is fantastic. I mean, he's really kind of come into his own. He was my co-host for a long time on Fox and Friends because I would always fill in on that show, and now he's off, sort of taking over the radio waves too. So he's a force. He's
done well, but now you're working alongside the maybe the best-looking guy. I mean, my wife, who's a gorgeous woman, doesn't stop with. I mean, I'm sick of it already. Chris Cuomo, Chris Cuomo. I mean, now you're with the guy every single day in real life, and I've met him once or twice. But you tell me, is he really that good-looking?
He is. He is dreamy. Because, Sid, I don't even know if you're seeing the full-on physique that he has.
Boy.
He goes to the gym all the time.
Right.
He has, like, these, rippling muscles. You can get lost in those blue eyes,
Oh, God. And then, of course, he saved somebody from drowning this summer. So now he's a good-looking, and he's a hero. He's like a superhero, even on top of it. God.
He might as well wear a cape.
I know.
Work. In fact, he does.
And you guys have great chemistry. And I tell you, I'm not saying this to blow smoke your way, because I made fun of CNN, Alison, for a long. Everybody did. I mean, come on, everybody did. But now the lineup with you and Cuomo, I like John Berman a lot too. And
great.
And you got Anderson, and you got Aaron, and you got Jake, and you got Wolf. I mean, right now, I'm going to tell you that's the best lineup on television.
Oh, I really appreciate that. I think we're hitting our stride. I mean, I just feel like on New Day, we're doing real news.
Yes.
I mean, this is real. This is hard news. We're doing, international news. We're doing the migrant crisis. We do terrorism. We do all the politics. We are doing serious news, and I didn't know that it could still happen in this day and age of, funny pet tricks and cooking segments and fashion segments. But CNN is carrying the mantle still of real hard news.
You see, and I love that. Now, I'll be honest with you, because I do love your show, but if I have to watch network TV because, I don't know, the hotel doesn't have cable, then I would rather watch Charlie and Gail than I would, like you're talking about, the Today Show, Good Morning America, all that fluff. I like real news in the morning. Now, I like a little bit of both, because I do that here. I do news, I do politics, I do baseball, I get raunchy. That's fine. The fact that you guys do all of that, I think, is exactly what we want, especially now, Alison, because the news cycle is so big.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, because there is a feeling that Americans have lost their appetite for real news. It can be so depressing and devastating, and terrorism, a 3-hour terrorism sandwich. Who wants that?
No.
But I also just think that we're dumbing it down on the networks so much now that your brain just almost can't handle it when you see real news. So I am proud of us for what we're doing and that you're watching, and we are building an audience. So I know that people out there still do want this.
And let's face it, as depressing as terrorism and all that is, it's not nearly as depressing as the Giant Cowboy game on Sunday night. That was really old.
I like your perspective, Sid.
So you got the big debate coming up tomorrow. I know Jake's got that, the second one. And Donald Trump was out there in Texas yesterday, and debate. I heard everybody's coming after me. And seriously, I'm going to vote that way, just so you know. And I know Donald for many, many years. I kind of like him. He doesn't like me, but I like him. That doesn't matter. Point is, he is obviously reaching an audience that needs him. But you got to be shocked. I am shocked that he continues to do well. The numbers go up, and he doesn't even care about tomorrow night because it doesn't matter anymore.
I know. He is playing us all like a fiddle. I mean, this is, to him, this is fun. He looks like he's having fun. He looks like he's enjoying himself. I mean, we were just saying on New Day this morning, I feel like an extra in this new reality show called The Presidential Race. That's what this has become. And so I think that he has tapped into something. And I hear people say he's tapped into the anger. I don't think that's what it is. He's tapped into the inspiration. Who doesn't want America to be great? Who doesn't love hearing we're going to be the best country? We're going to be the strongest country. Nobody's going to push us around. That sounds fantastic. And, he delivers it with such gusto that I think that that's what is resonating with people.
Well, that's what, this, Alice, that's what Reagan did, because Jimmy Carter, 1979, gas lines, boycott the Olympics, hostages in Iran, and here comes Ronnie, and he's going to kill everybody. And we got kind of the same thing right now. We have a president who's making deals with the enemy. This Iran deal is an embarrassment and a sham and disgusting. So all Trump says is, hey, I'm going to make this place great again. It's exactly what Reagan did 35 years ago.
Yes, I agree, except that it is, let's face it, Sid, I mean, isn't it a little bit more coarse this time? Isn't there a little bit more of a showmanship and a little bit, vulgarity is probably too strong, but I don't think that Reagan would ever have said the things about women that Trump has. I mean, Reagan would never have said about Carly Fiorina, look at that face. I mean, this is a somewhat more base level that we're playing on now. Ronald Reagan sort of kept it clean. And I just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, obviously, our whole culture has changed. We are used to more kind of vulgarity, I guess is the right word, with the internet and everything. But I don't know if Trump's ever going to have to change his tune. But I also just don't know if that level of mudslinging is going to last forever.
Well, you tell me. You're a female. Now, you're good looking, so you have to worry about it. But were you offended? Has Donald said anything along, because I heard Joy Behar yesterday with Dr. Phil yelling and screaming about he's a misogynist, he's a racist. The things he said about the Mexicans was downright I mean, everybody yelling and screaming on the other side here. Were you offended at any point with Donald Trump?
Well, I don't like that he said about Carly Fiorina, look at that face. But that was in private. I mean, he said that to his aides. So that was a reporter listening in as he was watching Fox News, and that was an aside that he made to his aides. So I don't know that he didn't say that, in other words, at a press conference.
But let me ask you this. But I'm sure you were part of the team, part of the group, part of the large group that was killing Donald Sterling for his racist remarks with the Clippers when he said that in private with his girlfriend.
I think that it is a window into the soul.
Right.
So I do think that it's an interesting insight, and I think that it does tell us something about guys who do say things like that. But I've been sort of struck by some of the language that he uses about how much he loves women. He says, I cherish women. No one will ever cherish women. I think that's an interesting verb and a funny one. And I think that we don't really want to be cherished. I mean, sure, yes, on some level do we want to be cherished, but yes, but not by our presidential candidate, by our husband, you know? And I also think it's so funny when he says, I'm surging with women. I also think that's a funny turn of a phrase. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, tell me this then. Is his popularity, because there's some awards here, we just talked about them, is his popularity about him and the showmanship and the celebrity, or is it more an indictment of the rest of the field? I know we like Ben Carson, we like Carly Fiorina, I think we're all bored to death already by Bush and Walker, but is it about Trump or an indictment of the rest of the group?
I think he's the right man for the right time in terms of the mood of this country and, the zeitgeist, as they say, because people were tired of politics. And, when you listen to the other politicians, even when they're saying something smart and they're saying something thoughtful, they do sound canned because Trump is so off the cuff. He has made everybody else sound as though they're just reading from their policy paper. So I think that we were tired with politics as usual and tired of the canned blah, blah, blah speeches, and there's just nobody better to deliver the unbridled, speeches and enthusiasm than him. He just happened to strike at exactly the right moment.
I think you've nailed it. Allison Camerota, check her out every morning alongside Chris Cuomo, New Day on CNN. One more on the debate, then one on Hillary. We'll let you run. I thought that Fox, the first time around, had an agenda. I'm sure you're friends with Megyn Kelly. I like Megyn for the most part, I do, but I thought she arrived that night trying to do one thing, which she almost did until I think it backfired on her. Now, you guys.
What do you mean, Sid? So you mean that you think they were trying to bring down Trump, or they were just trying to ask provocative questions? Isn't that the role of the moderators?
They weren't provocative questions. The provocative questions would be like, how are you going to save the economy? You Mr. Billionaire, Mr. I've gone bankrupt 4 times, which they got to eventually. But talking about Rosie O'Donnell and whether he's misogynistic or not, that's not provocative. That's her with an agenda. That was just my opinion. I guess you disagree.
I disagree because I thought that it was interesting to hear if he had a pattern, right? So we all remember the feud with Rosie O'Donnell, and I think we can all dismiss that. But was there a pattern? As Megyn Kelly said, there were other women that you've used really sort of pejorative terms about, and I'm interested in that, again, because it's a window into his soul or what he's thinking. So I was interested, but what I thought was
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Allison. Do you think that Bill Clinton was a good president?
Yes.
Okay, he was a pig. All right. Bill
Personally,
Clinton.
You mean in his personal life?
Yes. Well, that's
he did reprehensible things.
Right. By the way, Donald Trump says things. Bill Clinton did things, as did JFK. By the way, God rest his soul. So why are people okay with Bill Clinton, who slept with everybody from Arkansas to New York, but women are up and they love him. The women love him, but Donald Trump they're angry with. How does that make any sense?
Well, I'm just saying eyes wide open, okay? So Trump is surging with women, as he says. I think 33% of Republican women say that he is their choice for nominee. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be a good president. I'm not saying that he won't actually become president, but I think it is helpful to know how he and Bill Clinton treat women and feel about women.
That's fair. You're a woman. You should feel that way, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm just at the point now, Allison, where I don't know about you. I don't dislike this president. I know it's a big office, so I should be more respectful, but I despise him. And I hate the way this country is going. And the last 7 years to me has been a complete and utter disaster. And I need somebody who can run this country. And quite frankly, if they're a little coarse, even if they're all a little misogynistic, to me, I got to get this country back on the right track. I'm less worried about the personality of the president than what he could possibly do. That's where I am right now.
I think Donald Trump can be trained. I really do. I think that he can be trained, and that if enough women say, hey, stop talking about our faces. Maybe we're not supermodels, but stop talking about our faces. Stop saying that you cherish us like we're some sort of object. I think that he might even be able to change his tune.
That's fair. But do you think, because you like the job Fox did, I didn't, but regardless, do you think that Jake sits down, you sit down, all of CNN, and says, hey, they did this that way, they did that this way, so that you can, in fact, do some things they didn't do and or do coming up tomorrow night? Will you learn from how Fox did that debate?
Well, yes. I'm sure that Jake and Hugh Hewitt are looking at how Fox did it and figuring out how they want to do it in contrast to that. I will be in the spin room, so I'll be backstage. So as soon as the candidates come off stage, I will grab them and be able to ask them, how do you think you did? How do you think Trump did? What did you think was your best line? So I can't wait for that post-game wrap-up stuff.
Oh, my God, I'm so jealous. You got the job of the night. That is a great job. Congratulations. That's a big deal.
Thanks. I'm excited.
Are you doing the I know next month you guys have the Democrats. Are you doing that one too?
Yes, I just found out that we are flying out to Nevada. I think it's in Vegas.
Yes, it is.
So I think so we're having a whole Vegas road trip, baby.
God. What a life. Oh, one more then.
Know.
One more on that one. What are your thoughts on Hillary? Is she lying? What do you think the real deal is with Hillary Clinton?
I think that voters are tired of the fact that she always seems to obfuscate and never gives up. I mean, she's the anti-Trump. If everybody's saying we want Trump, the unscripted, unbridled, yes, he says coarse things, but okay, at least he's real. Hillary Clinton would be wise to take a page from Trump, and that, as ludicrous as that sounds, it would be great if she were a little less buttoned up. Now, in terms of the email stuff, I was interested to hear that the tech company says that it appears that nobody wiped the server, that the server hasn't been wiped, so the deleted emails can be retrieved. That will be fascinating. I'd like to see what are on those and to see if there is a there.
And what about that 5-month gap? Do you think that's becoming a huge issue, maybe to the point where this goes from political to legal?
Well, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to say that yet.
Yeah.
I just want to know if they can be retrieved, and I am interested in what's on those. So I'm not there at the criminal yet. And in terms of style, I mean, don't we all just want her to sort of take off the pantsuit? I'm not saying literally.
Not really.
Figuratively speaking, unbutton it a little bit and just, really talk about her experience. I mean, when she was talking about her mom and she teared up, that's interesting to me. And so I would like to see the real Hillary, too.
Only Hillary can make Bernie Sanders into a rock star. Trust me, Allison. I got to tell you, you're great on television, and you're equally as great on radio.
You're wonderful.
No, I'm being. A lot of the television folks that come on with me and they're okay. They have the information right, but you have this exuberance and this enthusiasm that comes just like TV comes right out. You were a great guest, and I really hope you keep coming by more often. And good luck tomorrow night. That's a great gig. Good for you.
Thank you, Sid. I look forward to it, and I look forward to talking to you more often.
Thank you. You were really terrific. What an excellent job. What an excellent job by Allison Camerota, huh? Jeez. Well, she was great. And what a gig she's got tomorrow night. She gets to talk to all of the candidates when they're done. I'd love that gig. How can I get gigs like that, Z-Mac? You're a horrible agent. You're fired, Steve. You're fired as my agent.
Oh, I'm your agent?
You are, basically. I don't have one. I mean,
I'll take that title.
If you take the title, you get 10% of whatever he makes.
7%. And only
10% is industry standard.
Not of what I make, of what he is able to book. So whatever pre-exists before, he gets nothing. But she's in the...
No, she was great.
She's in the spin room interviewing all the candidates after the debate. And what'd you get from me so far? A night at the Hurricane Grill? Sorry, Ricky. Couldn't even do that. 888-640-9385. That's a great job. We'll take a short break. We're back after this.
to the stars.
9:42 on your Tuesday morning. Welcome back. Well, everybody was great today. Liz Mandel was real good talking about kids and at what age do you talk about sex in front of the kids? What age do you actually have sex in front of the kids? That was odd. There was, I can't tell you how many people, even in New York the last couple of days, brought up the name Liz Mandel. Now, of course, Chris West doesn't work on this show every day. That's Eric Lengel's spot. But Chris fills in admirably, if not great, when Eric is not here. In fact, he's making his second stint. He did work one day a couple of weeks ago on the program. Now, he'll be here all week. You've never been around for a Tuesday morning Liz Mandel conversation. Your finger got very itchy the first hour with dumping stuff like asshole, and then you come to realize that Liz Mandel, that's different, no?
No, that was definitely a great segment. I mean, like I said, it brought back a flood of memories from my youth, and, we were talking about what the right ages are to talk, and I'm like, those are the ages I was actually doing stuff.
Ew. How old were you when you first had sex?
12.
How old is your uncle? Anyway, Liz Mandel was great, and
that is just so wrong.
Yeah, that is wrong, man.
Wrong on so many levels. Mark Feinstein was great. Yankees and Rays today and tomorrow again. Who's on the mound for the Yanks? I wrote that down here somewhere. God.
Tonight is
Warren and Odorizzi tonight, then Severino and Archer tomorrow. Yankees are off on Thursday. Then you get the Mets and Yankees in Queens coming up this weekend. Then the Yanks have Toronto. Right now the Yanks are 3 back of the Jays with about 19 games to go? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Right on the dot.
Feinstein was great. We didn't do a Mets spot today, but the Mets are red hot. They've won 8 straight. They've now built up a 9.5-game lead atop the Nationals, atop the NL East. Mets continue their series against the Marlins tonight, Kohler and DeGrom. Tomorrow it'll be Conley and Bartolo Colon. Mets off on Thursday, too. Mets, Yankees, and the Mets have the Braves next week, but the Mets are starting to run away with this thing. Now find themselves tied with the Dodgers at 83 wins for the third most in the National League behind the Pirates. They've won 86. And the Cardinals, they've won 89. In fact, Tim McCarver, all-time great St. Louis Cardinal, will join us on the program tomorrow. Brian Baldinger was here for his weekly NFL spot, breaking down the just bizarre ending of that Giant Cowboy game, and it's getting worse. Every time Eli Manning talks, it's like, shut up. It's one dumber thing after. Well, I told Rashad Jennings to fall down at the 1, after to throw the football on 3rd down. We kicked a field goal instead of running out the clock at the 1. I mean, Coughlin, Eli Manning, did you stop playing this game yesterday? I mean, Jesus. He talked about the Jet win, the Dolphin win, and the very impressive Bills win. Good games coming up this week. Week 2 starts Thursday. Peyton Manning and the Broncos, they won last week, taking on Kansas City. They won big. And this weekend you got the Dolphins and Jaguars.
Jags, yep.
At Jacksonville. So Miami well on their way to 2-0. Giants will take on the Falcons. Falcons beat the Eagles last night. And the Jets, Monday night, will get their asses kicked in Indy, despite winning big on Sunday. Billy Baldwin came on, the great actor. He was really good.
You got to get him back on.
Yeah,
for a long.
Just like a whole hour segment.
Right. And he said, thank you, you're right, Chris, to contact Art Sears, because that was a quick 8-minute tour for his TV show.
He'd be great on the Uncensored podcast.
Yes.
Call him. Tell Art Sears.
Billy
Said, I'm going to give Art the number. I want to come back on and spend some time.
Cool.
So we'll get him on. I'm trying to get Bernard McGurk, who I worked alongside.
Get him in town and have him just guest for a whole day would be awesome.
That would be great. But he lives in California. That would be great. Bernard, of course, worked alongside me at WABC this summer. I'm his producer for 20-something years. He'll be perfect tomorrow for the debate. No Uncensored today. We're going to bring that back tomorrow. It went really well on Thursday. We did very well.
Very well.
So we will bring that back tomorrow. So if we can get Bernard and Billy both this week, that would be great. And then we just spoke to Allison Camerado from CNN, and she was really good. I mean, really good.
And very enthusiastic to come back on the show.
Yes, she was.
Even though there's a little bickering.
We fought.
Yeah. I know.
What did we fight about, Chris? I forgot. Trump.
Trump.
Yeah, so do you think Bill Clinton was a good president? Yeah, okay. He was a pig. Still is.
But she's like, but.
Right, Donald Trump says things about women that are absolutely offensive. Bill Clinton sticks cigars up women's asses. I mean, give me a break. But he's a great guy and a great president, right? I mean, the Democrats who yell about Donald Trump, you got to be, and I Facebooked this a long time ago. Don't say a word about Donald Trump when you have JFK, God rest his soul, who banged whores in the Oval Office every night, married to one of the most beautiful women in the history of mankind, and Bill Clinton. Don't say a word about Donald Trump. Not a word.
Fair point.
Thank you. Of course it's a fair point. It's me, Steve.
I'm agreeing with you.
888-640-9385. We'll come back and wrap it up right after this.
The sunrise over skin, don't change that. See the sunrise over skin, don't change it. of cool green valleys, golden silhouettes, oh, shining cities in this.
All right. Nice to be back. Good to be back. And I just got a text from my sister Elizabeth, who does live here in Florida, my baby sister. She lives in Parkland, with a picture of my dad in his hospital bed. It looks great. Looks just about like he did when I saw him pre-surgery, very early Friday morning, about 3 a.m. And thumbs up, and improving so dramatically that he's already going to be taken out of ICU today and put in a step room later on tonight. So that is great news because, as you guys know, as I started the show with, I felt awful about leaving and cried as I left the hospital, the whole cab ride to the airport, and really struggled last night with my decision until I saw my wife, and then I was kind of cool with it. But on a serious note, it was a tough decision to make to come home, and he's doing great this morning. And thank you, Billy Adams. So that's great news. And I'm glad I'm back. We had a great show today. 5 great guests. Z-Mac did a really good job of producing the program. I was not around much, and ordinarily I talked to Steven a lot. But obviously with my dad, I was not able to do that, and you booked a damn good show, so thank you. You got a big show coming tomorrow too, right?
Yeah, we do. We got a really big show coming up tomorrow. I'm pumped.
Lee Corso?
Lee Corso will be here. Tim McCarver will be here.
That's a great baseball guest.
And Jen Rubin, Washington Post. She'll break down the GOP debate, and then we'll get it from the other angle, Lanny Davis.
That's a great show. And Chris West will be back.
And
I will be here.
Chris West is only praying something horrible happens to Eric Langell, something just horrible, even though he just got married on Sunday and celebrated his 49th birthday on Monday. Whatever bad happens to Langell is going to make Chris West happy.
And he goes at the break, he's like, wow, man, I've doubled my Twitter followers just in this past 4 hours.
What is your Twitter address?
Yes, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at TacoLicious666, or follow me as Frank White, as my other radio name I use.
Were you a Kansas City Royals fan growing up?
No.
Okay, Frank White, just so you know, in the glory days of the late 1970s with George Breton, you heard of him?
Yes.
He was a great second baseman. But that's not okay. So where would Frank White come into play for Chris
for
West?
me, well, Frank is my real first name. So Frank White for me is Christopher Walken from Kings of New York.
Oh, great movie. That's
Yes.
right. He was Frank White in that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So you have like 19 different names.
Yes. I use different names every time I move stations.
So does anybody know your real name? Anybody alive today that knows your real name?
Yeah, my mom. Right. And my brother.
That's it.
That's about it.
Right. And why do you do this? Are you
I
wanting?
just don't ever use my name online on air.
Are people looking for you?
I don't know. I just don't want them finding me if they do try to find me.
Now, you know that when you smoke a lot of, and you admit you smoke a lot of marijuana, probably too much.
There's no such thing as too much.
Okay. One of the side effects is paranoia. I think, and I could be wrong, that you exhibit a tremendous amount of paranoia.
Yeah, I did this before I started smoking, so the paranoia has always been there. Actually, the weed helps with the paranoia. It makes me more sociable.
Right. So the fact that you have 90 aliases and
that's just paranoia.
You're Frank something or other on Facebook, and then you're a different name. You don't have to play the music yet. That's fine. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. This is a study. I hope my cousin Linda's listening, because this is a case study in I don't know what. Are you a psychopath?
No, high-functioning sociopath. There's a difference.
Okay, that's right. You're not going to kill anybody, but
no, I know the difference from right and wrong. I just don't care.
You don't care, right? And now you're going to quit this job. Have you told anybody? Well, now you just did, so.
Well, yeah, no, it's not a 100% official, but it looks like this will be my last week.
But working the whole week with us, you may have a renewed vigor to stay here, no?
It did renew my vigor the other day when I was here, but there's an opportunity to go out and do some filming and make a documentary that I was working on, and it's one of those opportunities where it's like it's once in a lifetime, so take it instead of letting it waste away.
What is this document? You're not going to waste away, trust me, pal. You're about 260 on a bad day. What is this documentary about, Chris?
It's hashtag cosplay is for everyone, which has been a big meme in the cosplay community as of late, because you've got a lot of people that are professional models now, and they're getting to the point where people are like, well, if you don't have the right body type, you shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
So, in the last few years, it's, we went from guys dressing up at Star Trek movies to, like, now you have professional models. This is all they do is dress up as characters. They get hired by gaming companies, hired by the comic book companies.
Right. So, like, all these crazy events that you go to with the pedophiles and the Comic-Cons, all that stuff.
Well, you're thinking the bronies. I don't do the brony thing.
Well, there's pedophiles at yours too, trust me. But now there's beautiful women that go to this thing. Beautiful.
Yes. a slew of women have made their careers.
They dress like Wonder Woman, Catwoman,
Sailor Moon,
right?
You know, Batman. Any comic book character, League of Legends, the game online. That's a big one that they're doing now. Assassin's Creed, there are a few models that they get paid by Ubisoft and all these other companies, Blizzard, to be at their events dressed as the characters.
Gotcha.
And they make a career out of it.
Do you do that? Do you dress up as a... You don't do that. You don't.
No, I don't do the cosplay thing.
But if
I'm
you
behind
did,
the camera.
Who would you want to dress at if you could?
You know what? I've never honestly sat down and thought about it.
Now wait, there was one day in 850 when I came in, you were dressed as a bumblebee.
No. That wasn't a bumblebee.
Also Batman.
That's
once,
my
yeah.
That's my Monarch henchman hoodie from the Venture Brothers.
What is that?
The Venture Brothers is a cartoon on Cartoon Network. It's basically Johnny Quest all grown up and showing like how disturbed these people are from living, having been dragged around the world as children.
You don't seem like the type of guy that likes Jewish people either. Is that a fair?
I was raised by Jewish people, so
doesn't mean you like them.
I have no problem with Jewish people.
Because you look like an anti-Semite, but you're not really.
Just because I'm a blonde-haired, blue-eyed German does not, put me in that category.
Oh, German too?
Yes,
German too. Yes, very proud of his
German,
heritage.
Irish. We're the drinking nation.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, I love Eric, and he'll be on this show forever. But if I want to get you on the show too, or something, because there's something about you that's just both loving and really alarming at the same time. I need you around me.
There you go.
What else can you do? I mean, if Eric wants a board,
we got to find a role for this guy.
Yeah,
I will definitely be willing to come back.
If we find a role, would you want to stay with the show then?
Absolutely, I love doing this show. It's one of the more fun shows to do. I mean, like a lot of the other places around here, it's very dry, straight to the point.
Yeah.
Here we just have a good time. As I tweeted earlier today, tune in for all the wacky hijinks we get into. And I think we've had plenty of wacky hijinks today.
And we've had some serious stuff too, obviously. But we do all that stuff. We do the sports, we do the banal stuff, we do the fun. Chelsea's freezing today. Well, what is going on with her? It's not that cold out.
It's not. It's always cold in this place.
She's dressed like Nanook of the North.
With a blanket.
I know. Well, we're going to find a way to keep you around, Chris, because we like you. We like you a lot. So.
And I enjoy doing the show. It's awesome.
Thank you. Well, you'll be back again tomorrow.
I will be here tomorrow.
All right. Well, once again, a great job by all the guests today. Excellent job by you, Steve. And I thank you. Being with my dad, I couldn't really do much, and you put together a great week of show. So thank you.
So
I love you.
At least I could do, really.
Thank you, Chris. Excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you for having me,
Ricky Balupe. Excellent job as always. Major help, and of course all of you. All of you that Facebooked me and tweeted me, and my dad and sent messages. I can't thank you enough. I swear to you that my dad saw all of them, and he likes that stuff. I mean, I find it annoying, to be honest with you, but he likes it and really likes it. So thank you from my dad and from me and all of us, because it meant a lot in his recovery, and he's actually doing well today. So thank you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for loving us. We love you too. Have yourselves a blessed Tuesday, and God willing, 6 a.m. tomorrow, we'll be right back here, hopefully entertaining you again. Until then, from all of us to all of you, peace.
And now the end is near, and so I face